Hi everyone, I'm Yonko Chuklev from the Professional Association for Robotics and Automation, where we help companies either develop their own tech or implement new tech in their operations. Technology is adding new digital tools, it's adding new operations, it's adding new job functionalities, and basically it's changing, I would say, the whole landscape, but not significantly, but either one point at a time, year by year. Fear is usually not a constructive emotion. Usually fear is what gets you stuck in your shell. What you need is probably the more progressive emotion of trying to embrace AI, remote work, the new technologies, because once you try to embrace something, then you think how it's useful for you and how it can help you really grow, not just as a professional, but also as a person, and be one of the, I would say, citizens of the future, which shouldn't scare you. I think a lot of jobs will be there in the age of AI. Healthcare professionals, teachers, I would even say that, for example, the shop owners that know their customers and have a friendly and empathic tone towards them will also be there. So generally, I'm an optimist that a lot of the professions will stay, including some of the manual labor. For example, the construction workers, I think they still will be there. A lot of the manual labor related jobs that are outside the factory, I think will still stick around. And even if you combine a manual labor job with empathy, with critical thinking, I think that this job will also be around, I don't know, 10, 20 years from now. The simplest definition of AI that I use and I think is effective is machine that's mimicking human behavior. I think if you try and think of AI this way, it'll be a lot easier to explain what this technology is. So I think people use AI in all over in a lot of sectors actually, and even our daily lives, because for example, if you open, I don't know, Google Maps or Apple Maps and you want to get somewhere, this tool has AI behind. When you're home after work and Netflix recommends you something, its recommendation engine is powered by AI. And once, for example, you want to make a work collage and you get a suggestion, for example, from a design tool, this is also AI. So I would say it's integrated in more fields, not just of our professional life, but also of our daily life than most people would probably understand. Yes, I would say that even the most popular large language models such as ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, etc., can be helpful because I've seen that career advisors would say, for example, try and see how this career progresses via ChatGPT, prepare for interview questions via, again, for example, Gemini, and for example, fix your either LinkedIn or resume via Claude. And I've seen that, especially in the preparation for interviews, in the improvement of CVs, LinkedIn's, and career path planning in general. Even the generic AI tools have been quite helpful. And in terms of like enhancing CVs, preparing for interviews, even getting mock interviews, mock job interviews with an AI, I think that useful tools are all over the place. Of course, there's always risks, and lack of bias and lack of transparency is something that I think is a real risk. And the way you handle this risk is by implementing the principle of human oversight. meaning that irrespective of what decision the AI algorithm recommends, there should always be human oversight that's on top of this decision. So starting from the back, I would say that probably the biggest two challenges with remote work are knowing when to set your boundary between just being at home and working at home, because it's easier said than done. And the second one is the ability to focus while you're at home. It's also, especially if you have pets, loved ones around you, it's not always the easiest thing for you to get the same level of focus as you would in the office. A lot of human skills cannot be replicated by AI. Empathy, critical thinking, I would say even ethical judgments. I know there's been a big debate around AI ethics, but I think that ethics is also, and incorporating it in your decisions is something that is very common to humans. And maybe as a final note, I would say that humans are very well rounded. I mean that they're not just subject matter experts in, for example, engineering, law, finance, etc., etc. They are also knowledgeable of, for example, cybersecurity, knowledgeable of the communication style they need to adopt for other countries. They're empathic to their colleagues, even to people higher in the corporate hierarchy. So I would say that this diverse set of skills plus hard skills and soft skills, if I can render them like that, this is something that's very unique to humans. And this is why I actually see humans as the major factor for progressing further, not just for us as economies, but for us as in general. So I'm not a big fan of the idea that AI will take our jobs. And I think that humans are very well-rounded and are fit to deliver the results of a lot of jobs, spanning from retail to construction, factory work to, I don't know, finance and legal, more than algorithms are. Yes, algorithms can be good co-pilots. They can deliver good, for example, suggestions in a lot of sectors. But in terms of doing the actual work and seeing how your company, your institution can develop further, I think that this is something that's very common for humans. And this is why I'm seeing humans in the loop, if I may say, not so much artificial intelligence for us going down the line. So using AI and tech responsibly is an area which I think is a bit underinvested, and I think that even the big tech companies, their ethics teams have been sometimes slashed. I would like to argue that this is not the right move, because you have a lot of judgments in your career path even today that if you just consider the practical aspects of them without the ethical aspects, they would be very, very specific, so to say. So I know that this may sound too vague, but taking the ethics in every judgment, not for us as business people, not for us, for example, as teachers, but for us as individuals, is something that would distinguish the successful organizations and the ones that are not so successful, especially given the fact that the key to growth is talent. Once you have the ethics and you treat your talent with the respective ethics, this is a whole competitive advantage. So I would argue that this is a very, very important point that's maybe overlooked, but my modest forecast is that going down the line, a lot more attention is going to be focused on the ethical part of the decisions related to technology.